All right, all right, all right. Hopefully the audio is better than my last juice opinions. I'm gonna get this microphone real close because I listened back and Retro Death was right. It was super quiet. See, Falcon the Black Belt. What's up? Did you change your name? Is this the same Falcon from years ago? But anyway, what's up? Wait till get a few more viewers in here before we dive in. I do want to remind people that I made a similar Juice Opinions video in 2021, and it was called the Switch OLED is not real or something. Let me look it up. What's up, Retro? Let's look up that video. I don't know how long it's going to take me to find it. What's up, TriLink? Looking for the video where I broke everybody's spirits saying that the Switch Pro is not real. It's in 2021. How fast time flies. I still remember that video so clearly, except for the exact title. Pretty sure I did that in a live stream. Yeah. The Switch Pro isn't real, right there, in predicting Nintendo's E3. That was, why does it say 3 years ago? It was capable of 4K, 60, and HDR. June 3rd, 2021. Uncompressed audio. Looking at my younger self right now. So it's all about bandwidth. HDMI. Yeah, I had to explain why the Switch Pro wasn't real. It's less than 10 minutes in the UK until Thursday. Yeah, how many hours are left in the US? 5. So I made this video. The Switch Pro isn't real, and I gave all the reasons. Oh, my cats are about to. They're about to go for it. Go at it. Oh. Psst. Little rascals. That's all people are going to be looking at. Basically, it was pretty obvious to me. I was listening to all the so-called rumors and stuff, and I was like, none of this sounds like stuff Nintendo would do. Stuff Nintendo would care about. I said, more than likely, the rumors of an OLED screen seem very possible because that could help with battery life because OLED screens draw less power because there's no backlight. And I broke down what I thought it would be. Low-key sad. I mean, it's exciting, the thought of, a new Nintendo Switch announcement, but I just was listening to all these rumors, and I can't remember the exact, I should listen back to the video. There was one point in particular, it was because the person who had the information, one piece of the information is that's nothing Nintendo would ever do. So if I don't believe that, then pretty much I don't believe anything else this person said. Make sure my screen on OBS. Oh, yeah, there it is. If this was whatever, I wish I could. I mean, I could listen back, but I'm not going to because I might not find it right away. But I said it's just gonna be a revision, and I was right, and I'm getting the same feeling. Not about the Switch 2, the hardware, but about the so-called announcement of this leaked reveal that's happening. So, there's just too many things. I say too many. It's not like there's 50. There's 3 or 4 major things that just kind of, tell me that it's not happening this week. And again, if the person has information, then all their information should be true. They shouldn't have partial information. You can't, unless they just got, the reveal's coming, and then they made everything else up. That doesn't make sense. My camera's crooked now. That's just the fact. If you believe one thing, you got to believe everything, because why would they only have partial information? So That's kind of the basis. Also, Robert, shout out to Gaming With Me. He found a tweet, I think it was, from 2021 where somebody was like, "Oh, the Switch 2 reveal is happening according to Nate the Hate. It's happening in March of I don't know if it was 2021 or 2022." And I was like, "The same dude." And apparently he said it. Well, Robert thought he said it last year. I was like, "That was 2021." So this person, the same person that everybody's trusting, and I don't know who he is. I've never heard of Nate the Hate. But I enough people that I trust made it sound like he's legit and he's not going to say something. Even Kit and Krista said that he's trustworthy. Um, Apparently, it's his most viewed video. The one where he's talked about this. And I'm like, all right, so if you believe the reveal is going to happen, and if you believe he's right about that, then his rest of his information would have to be true. I've heard of Jeff Grubb. I think I might have muted him on Twitter or something. I don't know. I used to see his stuff, but don't know who any of those guys are. Never seen any of their content, and but enough people were like, "Oh yeah, when he says something, blah blah blah." I haven't seen the chips changing. The photos of the motherboard look pretty legit though. Like, I mean, could somebody fake that? Yeah, they'd have to they could spend a lot of time soldering stuff on to a motherboard that looks very similar to the Switch motherboard. I mean, they could. They could have somehow doctored the the markings on the chip. I guess it could have been photoshopped afterwards, but that part of it seems way more likely than some of the other stuff, like all the games people are saying. And I don't want to like kind of want to let I have this stream go a little bit, and I don't want to just like get right into it. I do want to talk about though, if this doesn't happen, we need to freaking take notes. Like, remember these people, because I don't know why I said it on the podcast. Everybody always remembers the bad experience they got somewhere. They go to a restaurant. You might have had 100 good meals there. You had one bad one. You're going to remember that, and it's going to stick in people's mind. You might stop going there, or you go to, I don't know, get your car service or something, and you have a bad experience. You always think of that. But when it comes to these leaks and rumors, no one remembers the stuff that people got wrong. They only remember the times they got stuff right, and if that's even, how right were they? How was it like what did somebody bring up? It was like the day before, or 2 days before, a Nintendo Direct's coming. Yeah, somebody obviously got a little tip on that, but I don't watch them either, but they keep infiltrating my feed via other people or subreddit. Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about it. I mean, we talked about it on the podcast, and it's exciting, the idea of it, but I wish I had known on Monday that he had said something like in 2021 and that it was happening. It's like, then I probably wouldn't have gave it the time of day, but still had something. It's still fun to talk about, and the excitement of the crew talking about it was pretty fun. But let's remember, this doesn't happen. I already saw somebody. I believe that Nintendo sees these leaks and they just change the date just because they're petty. Really? Nintendo pump fake. Nice. Yeah, you really think like that is such an easy out to give these people? And I've been harping on. I mean, I brought it up Monday again. What's her face? Rogers something? Was it Rogers? OJ back in the day. Oh, my waifu, Emily Rogers. She said Splatoon 2 from the trailer. It was actually an enhanced port. Mario Kart obviously was an enhanced port. Said Xenoblade Chronicles X port was coming. I think Smash, an enhanced port of Smash. Like, all this stuff was coming out. And Mario Kart 8 happened. But Splatoon was Splatoon 2. Xenoblade Chronicles X took 8 years to come out. It's not out yet, but you know, it'll be 8 years. So, like, I remember that shit. Super Metal Dave, he made a whole career out of talking about the NX being AMD, being Polaris, all this shit. I don't even know why I remember the Polaris part. It's the Polaris architecture. It's AMD. It's AMD. It wasn't. That should have ended his YouTube career. Instead he pivoted and made it all about the supplemental computing device add-on, and then it became all about the Switch Pro, and then Metroid Prime stuff, leaks and rumors. Oh, I remember like 2-3 years ago, it was like, oh, big info on Metroid Prime 4. He had nothing, nothing. And I guarantee you, I've not even looked at his channel. I remember I did maybe early last year just to see if there how much Metroid Prime 4 or Switch Pro coverage there was. I don't remember, and it was like every video. So the waifu shit was embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, that's OJ. That's OJ. Worst clickbaiters of all time. Let me just go to Super Metal Dave's channel, and I'm gonna see. Take a guess. I have no idea. How many Switch 2 videos in a row do you think there's gonna be before there's a different video type, like a different video title? I'm gonna say 9. There'll be 9 consecutive Switch Pro or Switch 2. Super Metal Dave 64. 32,000 subscribers, so he didn't like skyrocket. Videos. Alright. I'll make it. I'm not afraid. I'll share my screen. Alright, Switch 2 GPU update. 1, Switch 2 SoC, Switch 2 GPU update. That's 2 out of 3 were Switch 2 GPU. 4. Oh, he had Metroid video in there. Big update. You don't have a big update. Metroid 2 Echoes, that's a playthrough. So Switch SoC, so 2 Switch SoC video, 3 basically. Switch 2 GPU updates. He's been mixing in the Metroid and Switch, so I was wrong about the consecutive, but get the hell out of here. New update, Unreal Engine 5, Switch 2. Look at that. Switch 2, Metroid 4, big updates, new updates. There are no updates. Like, this is ridiculous. So, how far back are we? 10 months ago. He's been talking Switch 2 CPU for 10 months. Like, get the hell out of here. Next Switch 2. Let's find where they're before Switch 2. He did a review of Starfield. Switch 2. Switch 2 a year ago. Zelda review. A Link to the Future. Switch 2. Switch 2 big updates. People fall for this shit. 10,000 views. I mean, his views aren't as big as they used to be. 2 years ago, Bayonetta 3, Helena Taylor. That was... I mean, he's back when Bayonetta controversy was happening, making Switch 2 videos. Like, I gotta say, he's not making as many as he used to, but goddamn, man. Metroid Prime 4 and Switch 2. Like, are you kidding me? Who is subscribed to this nonsense? I bet you could summarize every one of these videos in a 10-minute video. Switch Metroid Dread leaked gameplay 3 years ago. So he hasn't been making a ton of content. I give him credit, unless he's been doing live streams. Been doing a lot of gameplay, but Switch 2 specs leak 3 months ago. Like, look at this upload, though. Like, this is ridiculous. What is it, Red Gun? Like, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's laughable. 11,000, 14,000, 15,000. I mean, I guess if they're all returning viewers, though, then I just want to slap people. Like, that, it's just so ridiculous to me. That's just ridiculous. But anyway, Salt Face Dave. I should see what he's saying. At least, and then maybe he'll do a live reveal, and we'll see if he's right, if he's been predicting, because he like bet the house on the AMD stuff, like how he recovered from that. I mean, OJ pivoted really quick into Pro Switch everything, and it really grew his channel. He fell for all that stuff, but my God, like, my God, Ipser's, hi, it's midnight, 16th, 99% Nintendo content creators and insiders should be ashamed. You know what they're going to say? Well, the one guy said 17th, so it could be the 17th. I thought it was the 17th in Japan, which would be the 16th in the West. Like, so let me say this first. There could be a stealth trailer that just shows up tomorrow morning for us, afternoon for the UK, that is going to be a teaser for the reveal of the next Switch, given the date for February or something. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. That could be, and then people say, well, that's what I heard. That's what I thought was going to be the reveal. There could be like a 2-minute teaser that shows you some glimpses and says, tune in February 14th, 2025 for a presentation of the successor to the Switch. That could happen tomorrow or even Friday. That's like the best case scenario. That's what's going to happen. But I'm not saying that's very likely, but that's the only thing I see happening. There's no way Nintendo's going to, the follow-up to their most successful game system, well, I don't know if it's past the DS yet, but it's going to. It's going to be the most successful Nintendo system, by far the most successful, home console. Volume's low again? You fucking with me? No one else said that. Retro didn't say it. So I can bump it up, but I need confirmation. You don't want to be fool. You're the only one, and Retro didn't say it, and he was the guy that noticed it last time. So, but let me know before I say anything else. How long have I been on here? 17 minutes. Somebody else can say if I'm low or not. It'd be great. What's up, Jay, though? Thanks if it is. Thanks for the info, but I'd just like somebody else to confirm or deny. Still waiting. I'm looking at the chat. I know there's like a 30-second delay, but no Switch 2 tomorrow. I'm shocked. The volume is good. Volume is good for me now. The last time I noticed it was off. Yeah, you noticed it the last one? Yeah. So anyway, the most successful Nintendo system ever made. You think they're going to follow that up with a reveal of their system via a stealth YouTube trailer or something? Like, what's up, Flip the Score? What's up? Is that Roko? Sorry if I mispronounced that. Lenny, what's up? I said Red Gun. Donnie, sorry I didn't see you there. 10 months of slop. A bit low. All right, I'll bump it up. Just in case. Everyone flaunting 3D printed Switches and docks. They all see themselves as Iwata holding up their remotes. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I think the shell stuff is legit. I believe personally that is the Switch 2, and that's pretty much, maybe it's not exact to the millimeter, but I really feel like those are going to turn out to be really accurate to the real thing. So you got your volume on max. I raised the volume and I moved the mic closer. So I don't know what's going on. Sometimes it's low, but I should max it out. So anyway, you're going to tell me they're going to follow up their most successful system of all time. Sorry. Call me Rocky. Will do. Leaks are fake. Why Arc 9? Like I said, I think the shell, the actual physical stuff, I believe that to be true. Not saying it is, but at this point, I'm taking that as very likely. But their most successful system, and they're just going to stealth drop a trailer on YouTube tomorrow or Friday, or last time it was 8:30 p.m. Eastern time when they announced that they were gonna reveal the NX the next day. So we still got time. What time is it? It's 7:10. There's still an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, I guess if you think Nintendo's just gonna like follow the exact formula, then I mean that you don't know Nintendo. Um, but so yeah, is there a chance? Yes, there is a chance. Um, but I'm saying no, and here's the main reason. So this Nate the Hate dude says that it's going to be a reveal. He followed that up by saying it's just going to be a hardware related video, and that the games will come later. That right there gave me pause, and I've probably said it on Monday a few times. Oh, my cat is just crying. She's right on the other side of the wall, hears my voice, and doesn't realize she could walk around to this room for some reason. But anyway, I might have to go get her. I'll be right back. Look at this. Look at this dumb cat. She's on the other side of this thin wall trying to like get to me. She's been in this room 100 times. Say hi. Say hi. Anyway, regardless of how accurate the leaks are, Nintendo is in danger of losing the surprise factor the longer the clickbaiters stir up rumors. That's true. Um, Leakers are more annoying than Nintendo taking long for the reveal. I'd put it. I've been annoyed with Nintendo this whole strategy, which I'll talk about. I'd be surprised if a trailer was stealth dropped today, but then again, Nintendo likes to think do things outside the norm. Switch to conspiracy theorist. Schrodinger's Switch to. I know the name, but I can't think of what his association is with that. Cat's an NPC. So there's no way they're just gonna put out a trailer for the hardware. Like that's what I was saying. That's what threw me off. Like there's no way they're going to just do the hardware and like what they're gonna go over the DLSS and all that. There's no way. That I mean with this new Nintendo, I mean I guess crazier things could happen. Hold on, I gotta sneeze, so I'm gonna mute and go. Please stand by. Sorry about that. Had a little tickle. Um, so yeah, I just don't see Nintendo going through any specs. They're gonna show games. Like if they're gonna show the system off, like unless it's like I said, some teaser for the announcement coming later. I mean that wouldn't be a bad idea. Thinking about it now, Switch Force. Yeah, that guy's a joke. Um, he is he is very clear. He'll report anything and everything. Haven't watched his content in a long time, but there's I mean actually doing a teaser. Hey, just dropping a teaser. You know, the successor to the Nintendo Switch or the next Nintendo Switch. Find out. Tune in. February or whatever. Like I could see that. That wouldn't be a bad idea. But to actually show the system without any games, like right there, that's a red flag. That there's no way they're gonna do that. Even in their Switch reveal, when we thought it was the NX, they showed Zelda, they showed Mario Kart, they showed Splatoon. What's up, Pearly? They showed NBA, they showed Skyrim. Like they're not going to show a system without games. So that was a red flag for sure. Also, and this is actually the biggest red flag for me. it's, let's see, even though it's not a brand new game, it's not, right here. This releases Friday.
Donkey Kong Country
I mean,
returns.
It looks cleaner than the last time I seen it, I guess. But the fact
arriving
that they
just
didn't
as
give
the Switch
him,
itself
like,
is sunsetting,
Donkey
Kong Country returns.
definitely sharper,
HD
way sharper than
is
the
a
original,
throwback
but sharper
to the
than
original
the
Wii
last
era,
time I
but
seen it.
with a twist. You see, for this
shout out to
project,
Digital Foundry, they take
Nintendo
really
handed
good
the reins
footage
over
when
to
they capture it.
Forever
It's a great game,
Entertainment, who then
but
rebuilt the whole thing.
I don't care that
to
it's an old
run
game.
in the
Nintendo
Unity
is
engine.
not going to bury the release of a new $60 game by revealing the damn Switch 2 tomorrow or the same day.
Of
There's
Kong
no
Returns is
way
certainly
in
a
hell
choice, but there is perhaps some
do
logic
that.
here.
There's just
After
no way.
all, the more enjoyable DKC Tropical Freeze
Yeah,
already
that's Tropical
exists on the
Freeze.
Switch, so bringing over the Wii adventure as
guessing
well
they're
means you
gonna
can
talk a
experience
little bit
both
about
games developed by
comparisons.
Richard. Necessarily love the controls
Yeah, look at that
and the
Wii
level
version.
design. While equally, I was disappointed by the soundtrack, which
it looks
felt like a
alright,
cheap
but man,
imitation
the
of the
Wii,
originals.
no anti-aliasing.
3 years later, though, the game was ported to the Nintendo 3DS,
3DS
which is
version.
less
Dang, look at that
powerful than
blowing
the
up.
Wii, and thus necessitated a drop down
If you watch
to
it on your
30
phones, it
frames
probably
per
looks
second.
alright, but blowing up.
Now,
that
given the
3DS version
proximity
looks
to
really
Tropical
pixelated.
Freeze, it made
But,
sense
anyway,
to offer Kong Returns on the
Nintendo's
then
not
current
going
Nintendo
to
handheld, despite the
take the
sacrifices.
time to pay to
and
have
the
this
results
company
were
port
pretty
this
interesting.
game.
This
They've
one
been
was handled
promoting
by
it.
Excite Truck developer
They're
Monster.
charging $60 for it. They're not going to kill it by announcing the Switch 2 the day before or the same day, or like revealing it officially. They're not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. So, again, the teaser could happen just to kind of build up some hype. I don't think that would kill this game, but any late generation game, especially a port, isn't going to it's not going to sell millions of copies, This might sell 1 million copies, maybe. They're doing it tomorrow to promote backwards compatibility. Oh, yeah. Sure. This wouldn't be the game to do that, but I mean, those are my main reasons. The fact that the person who gave us the information said they're just going to show hardware, not games. Nope. Red flag. Donkey Kong Country Returns comes out. Yeah, not going to happen. Honestly, I still feel my March 26th reveal date is still solid because also, like I said on the podcast, Nintendo was on X tweeting about their games for 2025, and it was Donkey Kong Country Returns, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Metroid Prime 4, and Pokemon AZ or ZA. I don't remember what it's called. I think the system will probably be revealed before all those games come out. I mean, I'm positive because they said they would at least talk about it before March 31st, but it's definitely not released until after all those games come out. So, unless one of them is a cross-gen title, I could see a teaser stealth drop this week. Yeah, maybe barely even show any of it, just like a real teaser. Nintendo not showing games goes against their entire philosophy. Yeah, software sells hardware. That's what Kit and Krista said, even though they were all about this being real. Looking for my cat. Yeah, it's just not in Nintendo's philosophy. So that part of it made no sense. That sounds like something an Xbox guy would say, or a PlayStation guy would say something like that. That's a Nintendo guy wouldn't say that because they would know better than to think that could be real. So honestly, I predicted March 26th because I don't see Nintendo revealing this thing before Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out. Like, that was my thought process. Forget Donkey Kong. Like, Xenoblade Chronicles X, that's a pretty big deal. That game was quote unquote stuck on the Wii U and never had a chance, really. Great game. I don't know what the sales numbers ended up being between Japan and the United States combined, but wasn't a big seller. And, they probably put a lot of money into that port. And I'm not sure if it's confirmed who's working on it, but that's a pretty big game to just put out after the Switch 2's already been revealed. So if I had to bet money, or God forbid, if I had to put the life of my cats on the line, I don't know if I'd lock into my March 26th. It would definitely be in February at the earliest. I see no chance of a January reveal personally. There's also the slight chance that the fires in LA could have changed their plans. If I don't know, if we'll see tomorrow if people are using that as an excuse. Remember last year? There was an internal delay. The Switch Pro. Oh, it was just the Switch OLED. Oh, it was just the Switch, the red box, the revision. I knew there was two SKUs. The Switch Lite and then the red box revision, and then it was the OLED. And it's just like they're gonna be like, oh, are you saying they won't show the system without games because they haven't done it in the past? No, I'm saying they won't show a system without games because that's literally their core philosophy, is software sells hardware. Kit and Krista worked there for 10 years or so, and they reiterated that a bunch of times. Like, software sells hardware. Like, they got different people in charge, but I don't see that core philosophy changing. Because if it's just a Switch 2, if it's just a very similar design but a bigger screen and stuff, like, you have to show the games then, because who cares about a new device without new games? Microsoft are working on the port. They worked on the Definitive Edition port alongside Xenoblade Chronicles 3. They're likely working on it. That'd be cool. According to VG Charts, at least 840,000 for Xeno X, 150 for Japan, while the rest from the West. That's decent, but that game deserved a lot more. I wonder what Xenoblade Chronicles 3 numbers were at last reported. If you want to look that up, Donnie, it'd be awesome. I said March 26th. Realistically, that's probably pushing it. It makes it within their time frame. Somebody said they have like an investors meeting in early February. That would be for the end of the year. I could see getting something out official, because they always and shout out to the viewers, 39 viewers. That's what we peaked during the podcast. Hit the like button if you don't mind. If they have a like early February investors meeting, where that's last year where they said that they were going to announce it within the fiscal year, I could see them wanting to get something out. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 reached 2. That sounds pretty familiar. 2 million. I know, they don't always update all the games every time they do a 3-month update on sales, but I feel like 2 million sounds about right for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And X, for me, is the best in the series. I really love that game. Yeah, the Switch 2 effect. I got a lot of new subscribers in the last year from my home theater content. So, I probably could have started the video by saying, yeah, the Juice Opinions are going to be gaming related. I tried one home theater podcast, but this summer, I think, our live stream, and it had like 2 people watching. So, there's not like exciting new topics for home theater. But yeah, so anyway, getting back to the Switch 2, I could see them wanting to actually get something out before the investors, instead of just telling the investors, yeah, well, it's, stay tuned for more information. Switch 3 speculation. Definitely at 2 million, since as of March 2023 was at 1.86 for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm guessing, yeah. So 2 is probably a fair number. I don't know how evergreen that title would be. Is it something you could still get on the store shelves and stuff? So either way, Xenoblade Chronicles X, they're not going to kill off that game by burying it under Switch 2 stuff. So unless it's a cross-gen game, or it's one of their featured, like, here's your enhancements from the Switch 2 version, I could see that, because from what I've seen, the enhancements aren't that significant for what they've shown, which I believe they would only show original Switch footage. Let's see, 6 days ago. I already watched this on the last Juice Opinions, but visit it just to kind of look
Those
at
of
it
us who escaped on the White Whale spent over 2 years wandering
I
in
don't have
space.
my green screen up to do the overlay, but
That the decision would eventually be made for us. The ship had taken weight.
when is a good release window? I think there's going to be a decent gap between this game and like Metroid
but the
Prime
vast
4
majority were in the lifehold.
and obviously
Are
Pokemon.
in the lifehold. With
But
any
I also
luck,
could
they're
see
all
both
still
those
there,
games being
in
out
stasis,
by
waiting
May.
to be rescued.
You know, I could see
What we don't know is
Prime
exactly
4
where all
be
the
in
pieces
April and
landed.
then Pokemon
Not
be
very
in May or
comforting, I
June.
know.
I really do believe that the Switch 2 is not releasing until all 4 of these games have released. Backgrounds look pretty sharp, I will say. Wish they had more
Another
footage.
day,
You can't really
another
tell about
step.
the popping or
Slowly
anything.
but surely,
I'm gonna
we're
guess that's
building a
improved.
sustainable future for
But some
ourselves
of
on
these
this
like
planet.
wider shots,
Remember,
just, you know,
the clock is always ticking.
definitely cleaner.
We
I'd
have
like
to
to see
find
the
that
side by
unit
side.
before it's too late.
But yeah, I think the skybox is different. It definitely looks nicer, but it's not as much of a jump. Maybe the Switch 2 version can do something. Take it to the next step. Oh, the trailer volume's playing. Sorry,
Anytime you need a little.
I didn't know that was on. It should have been that much louder though. Jesus, I turned my mic way up. So, I mean, my mic is like up by like 30 decibels over the desktop audio. Plus, I did have it max, so let's see. I think it could possibly do the reveal of the Switch 2 with cross-gen titles and nothing new. I thought the leaks were saying there wasn't going to show new software. Yeah, Nintendo's not going to show a system without new software. I mean, that's the one thing I'll say. You can look back at their history and predict. They're not. I mean, they revealed the Wii as just the last thing on the E3 stage, holding up a box, and you knew nothing. Didn't know about a motion controller, nothing. That was a tease. Other than that, that was, I think, honestly, what hurt the Wii U the most was when they revealed it. They didn't have anything to show. Super Mario Brothers U, the early levels, they look like a cleaner version of Super Mario Brothers Wii. To be honest, people didn't know it was a new game. The earlier was loud too. What was I watching earlier? Oh yeah, I forgot. I thought I had the video muted. The Digital Foundry. So what was I saying? Oh, the Wii U. When they showed that off in 2011, they didn't have any games, really anything to show. Like, I really think that hurt it as much as anything else. The Wii was dead. They miscalculated the appeal, the long-lasting appeal of casual gamers. They ended up years later admitting that they only bought like one game. They bought the Wii in like one game, and then they never bought another game. And they realized, casuals can't carry your generation. So the Wii was pretty much, momentum ended in 2010. 2011, they had Skyward Sword got delayed, and they were like, I think we got to show the new system. We got to show it now. They show it wasn't ready. They didn't have the operating system for the Wii U done until the launch date, a year and a half later. That's how, like, I've always said this. They released the Wii U 1 year too late, but also 1 year too early. Too late from a momentum standpoint, a year too early because the thing wasn't ready. The operating system wasn't ready. I don't think the development of games wasn't ready, and that really hurt the system. So they need to show games. If they don't show games, and it's just a Switch with a larger screen, that's going to be a huge mistake. So let me check the chat here. This game was incredible playing in handheld. What do you mean off TV play? I thought it was okay, but you couldn't. That's where you couldn't read the text. Wisdom's Prince agreed. I don't know. Agreed. What do you agree with? The game is about 5 gigabytes smaller than the Wii U version, according to the eShop. Went from 20 gigs to 15 gigabytes. That's how big the Wii U version was? Damn. I thought it was like 12. I know I had the downloadable stuff. It had like 4 gigs of texture packs and stuff. Probably advancements in compression. Yeah, I think it's probably upscaling too. Filthy casuals for sure. I mean, people bought Wii, they played Wii Sports, and then they bought Wii Fit, and then they put it in their closet. I mean, out of that 100 million, I mean, you know, Mario Kart Wii sold really well. Was it like 30 million sold? New Super Mario Brothers Wii sold like 20 million. Because there's a lot of people who bought the Wii for Wii Sports, and it's like, oh wait, I used to love Nintendo. Let me buy this Mario Kart. Let me buy this Mario Brothers game. Other than that, I mean, it's not like games were flying off the shelves. If there's no new gimmick and no new games, what would you be showing off exactly? I wouldn't care. Exactly. Like, if you're not going to show games, don't even bother. Like, because no one cares. The excitement of the Switch has been gone for 8 years, you know, well, maybe 7 years. Crit and Krista made a good point. It took them most of their career to earn the trust of Nintendo senior staff, and even then they weren't trusted completely. You talk about with, like, information. I like Paul Gale, but my God, he sounds like a sponsored fanboy sometimes. Who's that? I don't know who that is. Especially if it is just a slightly... I don't think it'll be a slightly stronger Switch. It'll be a significantly stronger Switch. If it looks familiar, especially then, they need to show games. There's no way you can release just a slightly stronger Switch and call it a Switch 2. There's no way. That's not going to fly. You know, you could argue the what isn't, but if you're not seeing at least a 2-time jump in like overall visuals, 2 to 3, you know, with all the technologies available since the Switch launched, you better see significant improvements on all levels of visuals. Like, you know, there's no way, like Digital Foundry pointed out, you know, the Switch or the PS4 Pro use like 100 watts of power at the wall. And, you know, the Switch 2 at most is going to use 20 watts. You know, you're not going to, you know, but because of it in advancements, that's not a one-to-one comparison. But like the Xbox Series S, I don't know, what does that use? Like 80 watts or something? And you're down to like 20 watts for a docked Switch. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get the same level of... That's why I have no interest in like an Elden Ring or something, even though the portable side of it would be cool. Hooked up to my TV, Elden Ring struggles on even the PS5 version because they tried to do a 60 FPS at higher resolution. But, you know, the PS4, the Xbox One really struggled. They had to, like, you know, if there's multiple enemies on screen, like the frame rates of the enemies was like really low even at close range. There's no way like a game like Elden Ring is gonna look, you know, better than a PS4 version when it's on your TV. And at that point, like, that's where it's great that there'll be the Switch 2, I'm assuming, will get games like that. It's great. It's awesome. But at the same time, if you have a PS5 or Series X, why would you buy the Switch for? I guess the portable play, but if you're going to be a mostly docked person like me, I'm not going to buy those games, you know. So there's rumors of all kinds of crazy rumors, but the one that I kind of laughed at was Flight Simulator 2024 or whatever. Like, there's no way. Like, I wonder how that runs on the Series S. I don't know, but Paulgate Network used to work for one of the gaming sites or magazines. Nintendo overhauled their HR and marketing teams recently. Most of the new staff have worked there less than 5 years. which means Nintendo will be far more private about their hand in the future. Don't care about plastic reveal. I want games or they can wait. Exactly. Better be backwards compatible. My test with my XCOM 2 is pretty unplayable on the Switch. Interested to see if that will be handheld. See if that will be handheld or handled well. Sorry. XCOM 2. What is that? Is that a game actually on Switch? U.S. marketing and HR staff. Yeah, that's what I figured you were talking about. I mean, I would, you got The Witcher on Switch. To me, it's so compromised. I can't even imagine playing that like on a TV. Let's look it up. The Witcher 3. Not to brag or anything, but I got a 77-inch TV. The bigger screen you have, the worse things, lower res, the more noticeable imperfections are. So this cutscene on my 24-inch monitor doesn't look like horrendous. This is a cinematic. This is like the Switch after the so-called next-gen update. But look at that. Like, this is a 24-inch monitor. This looks like absolute... I mean, of course, YouTube is not helping with all the foliage. I'm not playing this, like, if they got Elden Ring on the Switch 2 and it looked like this, I'm not interested. XCOM 2 collection. Oh, yeah, that's right. There was a collection. Published by 2K. The cutscenes don't look like the worst thing ever. It looks like before 3. It looks like early 7th gen. Like, this looks like trash. Like, props to the people who play this on their TV. The handheld, I'm sure, looks way better. Less noticeable. That is just so blurry, though. Like, so I'm not really interested in getting 9th gen games at, like, super low resolutions and stuff, so... Yeah, look, that's a zoom in, but still. You got a big TV, that's what it looks like. Yeah, that smooths it, but it makes it blurry. So, this is kind of off topic, but yeah, I'm not that excited for the third party stuff, because I have a PS5 Pro. I'm gonna buy the games for that. Like, I've been getting more into trophies lately. Shout out to Retro Death. It wasn't your influence, but just getting that first platinum trophy a couple years ago, I was like, let me check out these trophies. Oh, that's kind of a cool thing I need to do. Some of them are tedious and annoying, but trophies and the fact that, call me a graphics whore, call me what you will. Would I want to play, like... Let's think of an upcoming game. Like Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm probably not going to play that, but PS5 Pro versus Switch 2 on my TV. I don't even have to see it to know that it's not even going to be close. Like the Series S isn't even going to be close. There's no way I'd play the Series S version over the PS5. Why would I play the Switch 2 version? That's going to be even lower than the Series S. You know what I'm saying? Level 5, only third-party stuff I'm looking forward to is level 5. I'm looking forward to, like, the third-party exclusive stuff or the third-party games built for the Switch, looking great and stuff. And it's going to be cool for people to be able to finally play Resident Evil 2 Remake, RE4 Remake, Resident Evil Village, on a Nintendo handheld. Like, I'm glad for people. 75-inch. You're okay with it. Yeah, I am too. I played Echoes of Wisdom. I'm okay with it. But did you play The Witcher 3? Did you play Doom? Did you play Hellblade? Look at Hellblade. I have Doom and Hellblade. They're really hard. Sucky thing about Hellblade is it's even worse in handheld. The handheld's even blurrier. So, but it doesn't get much better on the TV. I never bought Mario Kart 8 on Switch. Couldn't bring myself to pay full price. Since I had it on Wii U, a new Mario Kart would be great. Yeah, I bought it and I sold it. I had Deluxe and I sold it in probably 2019. just because, or maybe 2018. I'm like, I've been complaining about these ports, and I'm not going to support it, so I sold it for like $40. I think I paid $45 for it, or $50, so I didn't lose a ton. And I'm just like, it's been 10 years since a new Mario Kart game's released, and I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm comparing because if I have a PS5 Pro, there's no way in hell I'm buying the Switch 2 version of a third-party multiplat. There's just no way. You know, maybe like Silk Song if that ever comes out, or like a like a pixel art game or something, an indie game. Yeah, it doesn't matter at that point. And as long as like there's no technical issues, the game runs fine. I'm more concerned about the frame rates than just the visuals. Like looking like that and not even like being 20 to 30 FPS. Now I'm not saying Switch 2 games are going to look as bad as The Witcher 3, but if they try to put Crimson Desert on the Switch 2, it might look as bad as Witcher 3 does on the Switch, you know? Like that's still going to be a thing. I think you're going to get a lot of 8th generation games finally that look good. Like I said, Resident Evil 2 remake should look really good, especially handheld stuff like that. You know, that's going to be cool for sure, and I'd like to see some day and date stuff. But at the same time, by the time this thing's out, that's when, you know, basically all games are going to be 9th gen only. There's still some games that are supporting PS4 and stuff. Nothing that's pushing any kind of visuals, but like I said, Crimson Desert, the what's that RPG, the something 30 Expedition 33, you know, I'd be, you know, really surprised if those games come to Switch too. Like they'd have to, Nvidia and Nintendo would have to really have worked some magic for games like that to just be able to run well on the Switch 2, because those, I don't even know if the Expedition comes out this year or next year. You know, there's a lot going on there. You know, they're finally taking advantage of the hardware. Game like what's it called, Black Myth Wukong, even PS5, like the 60 FPS mode to me is rubbish. Like it's trash. That's not running on the Switch 2. There's no way. If I'm wrong, cool. Anybody do a check? Anybody check? Has Nintendo announced a reveal? We're getting close to the deadline that people have given. We have 45 minutes until the deadline for when they can't say, well, last time they announced the Switch reveal trailer like the day before, 12 hours before. So I don't see anything. I'm on Twitter. I see nothing. Just thought I'd check just in case. Nothing. Let's see. I played both Dooms, Metroid Prime. I didn't care about Witcher or 3. Yeah, Metroid Prime looks great. That game looks great. You know, it's a 7th or 6th generation game with higher quality textures. It's, you know, the character models and stuff weren't revamped, but that's a great looking game. Like I'd be happy if they go for just really clean, sharp visuals without pushing too much in the way of other things that kill frame rates and resolutions. Some games would be fine, thinking about Prince of Persia, but these massive games, that's what a PS5 and Xbox is for. Yeah. Depends on what would be my massive. If it's just like the scale, that's not an issue. But I think Final Fantasy Rebirth, there's no way that if they get that running on the Switch 2, I mean, let's just be real. The base PS5 struggles. The 30 FPS mode seems all right. But, you know, that's PS5, the 30 FPS mode. So, I mean, who knows? I could be wrong. This new technology, this upscaling could really be a game changer. And we could see a lot more games than I'm thinking. The curious thing is, or the interesting thing for me is, what about the games that got the ports? What about the Witcher 3s, the Doom Eternals? What's in Hellblades? You know, are there going to be patches, updates, or are they going to re-release the game for Switch 2? That's what's going to be kind of interesting. Are you going to get Doom Eternal, Switch 2 version, and a $40 game or $60 game? That's going to be something. I don't expect like free updates because basically it's just going to have to be a brand new game. You have to put it in the cart and like download like the Switch 2 version, I guess. But there's just so many unanswered questions. Even with all the so-called leaks showing everything, there's still so many unanswered questions. Like I just said, you put in a Switch game, is it going to just downclock and run at exact Switch 1 specs and get no boost? Is it going to give you a boost? Is it going to fix performance? It's not going to do like bump resolutions up, but if it has adaptive, what do they call it? Scaling, the resolution scaling. What's that called in the middle of a game where it changes, drops the resolution? Dynamic resolution scaling, DRS. If games do that, like maybe Age of Calamity will be like fully playable now at 30 FPS. Like that game has some of the worst frame rate drops. I would expect at the very least it to clean up games that have frame rate dips and have drops in resolution. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, games like that, like Age of Calamity, those should, just by the nature of the dynamic res scaling and frame rate drops, a boost in performance should just automatically make those look and run better. But a game that's already 1080p 60 FPS like Smash Brothers, I wouldn't expect it to look or run any differently. It's going to be the exact experience. And it's possible all backwards compatible games will be the exact experience. Nintendo loves to stay true to the original like NES games with the slowdown and stuff. Maybe they'll just, the clock speeds will drop way down to ridiculous like low levels just so it can run the original Switch games at the original Switch performance. That would be ridiculous. Like if I go to the Korok Forest in Breath of the Wild and it's not locked frame rate, that's going to be really disappointing. But we don't know. We don't know how they're handling that. We know how you can transfer your saves and your profile from one Switch to the next now. I'm sure it's going to work the same. No rebuys for me. I'm not rebuying anything. All this should be backwards compatible. Performance should automatically be smoother if it doesn't look any better. Yeah, I mean, if there's frame rate drops, it should automatically be up. But I don't expect Doom to suddenly, I mean, it topped out at 720p. It's not going to suddenly be 1080p. It's not going to suddenly have anti-aliasing and all whatever. I think that actually does that game. Old 3DS games didn't run at the new 3DS higher CPU speeds, so it's not a given. The loading times were better, though, if I recall. There was improvements. I thought, maybe not. But that's a different situation. That was a minor boost. Really just to try to improve like the Miiverse and like the operating system and Smash. Yeah, because Smash on 3DS was a lot better on the new 3DS. It was a lot quicker. So it did take some advantage of it, just not like there wasn't like a huge benefit. But like I said, we don't, the transfer system from one Switch to the next, I'm sure is going to be similar. We don't know how they're handling it. Is it the friend list going to be the same bare bones stuff? Count system are all my digital games. All your digital games on Switch going to just easily transfer over. I would assume since it's like just going from the base model Switch to the Switch OLED, all that stuff, I would expect that to work. Is it going to have to boot up in a Switch 1 mode? Are you going to have a Switch 1 folder where all your games, Switch 1 games, or is it going to be seamless like PlayStation 5 where all your game libraries, PS4 and PS5, it's all one library? Doesn't matter what you put in, what you start, the system does not change. Like if you didn't know one game was a PS4 game and one was a PS5 game, you wouldn't know. No one would ever be able to tell you, oh wait, that must be a PS4 game. Other than the loading times are longer because if it's not native for PS5, then it can't take full advantage of the loading speeds. But other than that, everything it's the PS5. You're playing a PS4 game, everything works just like you're playing a PS5 game. Whereas Nintendo in the past, they have you boot up separate modes and stuff. But I guess the 3DS to DS are. No, we didn't. The DS to 3DS was a completely over. That was a complete overhaul. You put in your DS games, and it just played, right? It just played fine. It didn't like have to boot up into DS mode. I have to try that. I haven't done it in a while. I'm assuming it just booted up normal, and you could still use the 3DS's like suspend and stuff if I'm remembering correctly. So I mean they have done that in the past then. What else don't we know? I guess pricing. Switch 1 mode. Oh, I can see doing exactly this. I mean, just because it would help with compatibility, but that would be stupid. But like the GameCube had a separate boot for GameCube. The Wii had a separate boot on the Wii U. I'm gonna get my 3DS out, get a DS game out, and just see. But I don't think you had like DS digital games back then, so I don't think there was like a library of your DS games you could keep on your 3DS. I know I had virtual console stuff on there, but yeah, it's just there's a lot of questions there that we don't know. 43 viewers, shout outs to everybody. This is the most views that I've had. The podcast has had since like maybe 2018, 2019, when the Switch hype started to die down. And so shout outs to you guys. I know it's exciting times, but just to reiterate for any new viewers, the reasons the Switch reveal isn't happening, obviously, I think we'd know about it by now. I don't see Nintendo stealth dropping a Switch 2 reveal tomorrow, which would be their announcement of their new system following their biggest success in the history of the company. By the end of it, the Switch is going to be their biggest success. Software-wise, definitely the biggest success. Hardware-wise, definitely, will be their biggest success. I don't see them following that up. 8 years of, all this success and just stealth dropping a hardware reveal for the Switch 2 in a YouTube video. Like, no way. There's no way that's happening. And there's no way they're going to announce the Switch 2 or reveal it the day Donkey Kong Country Returns HD comes out. There's just no way. Yeah, I didn't think there was digital games on the DS. Yeah, 44, 46 now. Wow. This is crazy. This used to happen. I used to do Juice Opinions. I'd like basically give all my points, have like a dozen viewers, and then I'd start talking about random stuff, and all of a sudden I'd have like 30, 40, 50 viewers. I'm like, dude, I already said like what I was going to say. Like, now what do I do? Like, I don't want to just end it, but I don't see Nintendo. Oh, the other third thing for the people that are new, Nintendo is not going to just show hardware without showing their games. Now they might, like I said at the very beginning, like an hour ago, there might be a teaser tomorrow or tomorrow Friday, where it's just like the future of Nintendo Switch will be revealed on February blah 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 or March 3rd. I could see that, and then people could say, well, that's the information I got. I thought it was the full reveal. Okay, I'll let you slide with that one. So the best case scenario, there could be a teaser to announce the date of the actual reveal. We could get that tomorrow or Friday. They're not revealing the system. They're not revealing just the system without the games. That was the big red flag, and they're not going to just bury Donkey Kong Country Returns. They got plenty of time after Donkey Kong to Xenoblade Chronicles X to show it like in mid-February. Or they could wait till after Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition on March 20th and then reveal the system like the following week and a half later at the very end of the fiscal year. They could wait till March 31st. J87, Nate never said there wouldn't be any games present at all. He said the unveiling would mostly focus on the hardware. Their first trailer for the original Switch teaser was hardware focused, but they showed a lot of games. Yeah, they didn't break them down, but you saw like 8 games or something, which got people talking. But anyway, if he was right, you think they're going to stealth drop the follow up to their most successful generation of all time. They're just gonna stealth drop a trailer that's gonna like show the hardware. Like, I don't see that happening personally. I don't see them doing it. Like I said, the teaser, like a literal teaser, like maybe show some curves and a button and say the future of Nintendo Switch. I don't see them like showing the hardware. Oh, it's got an 8-inch screen. Oh, it's got 500 megabytes or gigabytes of storage. They never mentioned the games. I mean, they showed the games though. Like, you saw there was a new Mario. You saw a Mario Kart. You saw Splatoon. You saw Skyrim. You saw NBA 2K. That, maybe that could still happen, but they're going to show games, like they're not just going to, it's not going to be a hardware focused, that just seems so lame to follow up this huge success. I mean, just the software sales alone of the Switch games, this huge success, and just show like a hardware trailer. Especially if the leaks are right about the actual hardware and it's just another Switch. Like that, I can't think of a more anticlimactic, lame way to like reveal. That's just me. That's just, I mean, I'm not the end all be all of Nintendo, but I have been, I have been playing them since the NES was new. I've seen a lot of their launches, and they've had missteps, no doubt about it. They messed up. I said earlier, the Wii U's reveal was terrible. They didn't have any games really to show, and nothing really to excite people. So in this day and age, though, people get excited about a new phone a year after they got one. So who knows? Who freaking knows? I just don't see Nintendo not highlighting games at the forefront of this reveal and having it. I think it should be, I expect it to be a bigger thing than just like a 3-minute trailer on YouTube. Oh, what's up? Grant the Nah. Yo, I just wanted to mention that the NXTs before the trailer was announced at 8:30 Eastern. Yeah, I mean, keep holding on to that. I mean, again, who knows? But if you think Nintendo's just going to be copy paste, hey, we did it last time at 8:30 Eastern. Like, you got to remember, this was 2016. The Wii U had been on life support since it launched. It barely cleared 13 million by the end. At the point they announced it, there was no more Wii U games. They waited until the last, other than Breath of the Wild, obviously, they waited until the last Wii U game to finally reveal what the NX was. They waited for Paper Mario Color Splash, a game no one cared about. They waited until that game released before they announced it. That's with a dead system. So it was a different time. They were in a rush. Aren't they preaching January 16th in the reveal in the Nintendo fanboy? No, it's not the Nintendo fanboy. It came from a non-Nintendo fanboy. Nate the Hate is not a Nintendo fanboy from what I've been told. I don't know. I heard they had a Nintendo guy on there, but he's not it. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that was my understanding of who Nate the Hate was. I'm surprised they even gave us a 12-hour notice the first time. Yeah, I mean, at that point, they talked about the NX at an E3 the year before. They said they called it the NX. They've never even given a code name for the Switch 2. They said that they're going to talk about the next hardware before the end of the fiscal year, which is March 31st. But, thanks for the $5. Appreciate it. You could be right. I mean, but I don't believe Nintendo is gonna last time we let people know at 8:30. They were scrambling back then, even though they did wait till after Color Splash. They were in desperation mode. I mean, Kit and Krista talked about it. I used to listen to their podcasts. Those were scary times, and honestly, I've been saying this for like 4 years. I do not envy the decision makers at Nintendo. This whole time, they've had to try to think of a way to follow up this successful system, somehow make it fresh, try to please the guys who still think they need some new off the wall gimmick or something. They need to do something. They need to be Nintendo still, like people like that, versus people who love the Switch for what it is and don't want it to change. I don't envy those decision makers. I would not want to be in those meetings of what to do, because on one hand, it's got to be a hybrid. You can't get away from this format. Like that's the key to success. But on the other hand, how do you make that exciting? That's why I think the games are what make it exciting. Yeah, they could do something software wise. There could be a return of the Miiverse. There could be some social media app built in. There should be some really cool stuff they add. That then only Nintendo would think of that. On software side, like OS side, like functionality wise, but the actual hardware. Other than, like I said last week, give me some ergonomics, give me some comfort. That's all I really wanted from the actual unit. And then I'd love to have HDR support. I'd love to have really fast, loading times, stuff like that. I'd love to have. But other than that, I mean, we'll see. I wouldn't hold your breath to that 8:30 Eastern time. I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying it won't happen. But my gut's telling me there's too many things that were red flags for me. And Donkey Kong Country Returns HD's, right there with, I think, at the top, along with the separate. They're gonna discuss the hardware, and then they're gonna discuss the games at a later date. That's such an Xbox Sony fan thinking. I don't see them doing that. But if you want to count the teaser for the Switch last year, or not last year, last time, as a reveal, I mean, I guess they could do it. But again, those were dark days. They had a failed system, complete failure of a system, and people had been clamoring for the NX for a year and a half, and they finally, revealed it, and then they got it out pretty quickly. So yeah, I can't stream for another half hour. I don't even know what to talk about. This video could age really poorly. When I wake up tomorrow, it could already be completely irrelevant, but, it is what it is. But my Switch OLED video, or my Switch Pro isn't real. Aged really well, because not long after, or a few months after, they revealed the Switch OLED, and it was pretty much exactly what I predicted the Switch Pro was going to be. People were expecting that to do 4K, do upscaling, DLSS. You got to remember, like I said, this is a weird community where you only remember the good stuff. You only remember when people were right. People don't remember all the wrong, false information we got. Like, I went over Super Metal Dave's videos earlier, and it's the last year has been Switch 2 and Metroid Prime updates for a year where there is no updates. Make a whole year's worth of content off of fake news, fake info. And I forget where I was going with that. Dang it, I lost my train of thought. Either way, damn it, I wish I could remember where I was going with that. I unsubbed the Spawn Wave back when then because of the flood of Switch Pro rumors. Oh, the Switch Pro rumors. Yeah, I was talking about my video. People were saying, like I said, DLSS, 4K. They were right. People said OLED screen. I thought that sounded legit. I said, do not expect a boost in performance whatsoever. Don't even expect an Xbox One S versus Xbox One boost of 5% CPU or 9%. I said, don't expect any of that. I said the OLED screen is possible because it's more efficient and could increase battery life, a bigger screen, and I said better speakers, which Nintendo claimed. I think the OLED speakers do sound better, but not that much different. And that's all. But basically, I don't think I called the better kickstand. I can't remember now if I did or not. And where was all the people, calling out all the rumors? Everybody was saying DLSS and 4K and all this. Probably can't remember one person that said, I'm sure the usual people, the Spawn Waves and the Super Metal Daves and OJs and stuff probably all talked about that, but none of it was true. You know, the OLED screen was true, I guess, but none of that was true. It didn't do any of that stuff. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Better battery life, bigger OLED screen, and I just happened to say, you know, maybe they'll try to improve the sound because the screen will be bigger. So, but it wasn't, the size wasn't bigger, just the screen was bigger with a less border. So, give us a new Donkey Kong game in the launch window was the rumored 3D Donkey Kong game by Odyssey. Yeah, dude, that's another one of those fake rumors. You're not getting a new 3D or a new Donkey Kong game at launch when they just launched Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which tomorrow or Friday it comes out. So you're looking at least a year, probably 2 before another Donkey Kong game, if we get one. I do believe Switch 1 games will have some upgrades in Switch 2. I know leaks are not reliable, but some people are. And from the ones I heard, apparently some games are getting next-gen patches. I don't believe that. Maybe third-party games. Nintendo's not going to do that. Back when we heard the Breath of the Wild was being showcased at 4K and 60, that could just be a remaster. Yeah, I mean, it could be upscaled to 4K at 60 because technically Breath of the Wild runs at 900p 30, so it could just upscale the 900p to like 1440 or something and double the frame rate. I could see that. You're not going to have like it's super, like the visuals aren't going to be like some revelation. The belief with the Switch OLED was that due to hardware shortages in 2020, they couldn't produce a Pro model. Yeah, that's a good, that's an easy way out right there. Yeah, the Switch Pro was real, but hardware limitations. They could still make Switch 1 chips, you know, which were actually not Switch 1. That was a revision. That was the Tegra 2, you know, quote unquote Tegra 2. They could still make those. Why couldn't they make, and that you could have basically, I made a video too after the OLED was announced that the OLED could have been like a Pro with a couple, without changing the hardware whatsoever. All they had to do was open up the clock speeds, increase the RAM speeds, you know, with the exact same hardware where people I think now are getting into the OLED, they're soldering on stuff and they're overclocking. It's not as effective when games don't know that it's happened. Like, you know, all you got to do is like, they were developing Metroid Dread and they knew they had more power. They could have just toggled a few more settings on their development tools, you know, and got you a boost. Versus, you know, the boosting the RAM actually did more for like Bayonetta 3 than the CPU boost, you know. So they could have just had it run at full 2 gigahertz, the chip, and they could have had the RAM run faster and your battery life cut in half, and you could have had a much better experience with docked games, you know, playing on the dock. Imagine like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 if they had access to double the clock speeds and faster RAM, what more they could have pushed out. Like, this is crazy. I'd be curious like what levels they've gotten to with the OLED as far as the overclocking and stuff. You have to like solder stuff on, like you have to be like pretty much a master at soldering, and you know, because that's a tiny board to be soldering stuff onto. But anyway, I think that's gonna be it. Maybe 21 minutes from now, this video will be completely irrelevant, so feel free to come back and say, yep, you were wrong. Honestly, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to have the Switch 2 reveal, have this awesome reveal tomorrow or Friday, and just be like, oh my God, that looks so cool. I can't wait. You know, but I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to happen. And if I had to make a prediction, like I said, if I had to put money on it, or, you know, the health of my cats or something, I'd say maybe like by Valentine's Day, right around Valentine's Day at the earliest. Somewhere in between Donkey Kong Country Returns HD and Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, maybe right in between. I think the thing for me is that they should have announced it sooner. I mean, we say that, but we don't know. We don't know the ins and outs of stuff. Like announcing it. Actually, I do have something I want to talk about, and I mentioned earlier that I had something I want to talk about, and I forgot. I don't think I'm going to like rate Nintendo's handling of the end of this Switch generation very well. Like, I feel like, and I have no way to prove this, no evidence, nothing. I feel like Nintendo's focus has been on hitting that 155, whatever, beating the PS2, being the most highest selling game system of all time. I think that has been low key their main priority for the timing of the Switch 2. They're milking in the software sales, and you could say it's good business. I mean, it is. It could just be they're raking in the software sales and they don't want to risk losing that. But when you're filling your year with a Paper Mario port, a Donkey Kong, well, it's gone into the second, and it's not the same year, but basically within a year you had the Paper Mario port, you had the Luigi's Mansion 2 port that wasn't even a remaster. Paper Mario 1000 Year Door was a remake, I believe. But Luigi's Mansion 2 port, Donkey Kong Country HD a port. But the surprise was Echoes of Wisdom. Now, is that a top tier flagship Zelda game? No, it's a really good Zelda game though. I really liked it until the end, especially. I didn't care for the end as much and the boss, but that was a really good game. But at the same time, that would have been a really good game on Switch too. That would have been a really good like launch window Switch game to go along with Mario Kart stuff. So what I feel Nintendo is just like, whether they might have had some kind of issue in production, there might have been something. It might not just be them being greedy or whatever. I just really feel like they want to hit that. They wanted to be the best selling console, and they were going to try to get as much out of this Switch as they could, because you never know. There's no guarantees the Switch 2 is going to be a success. There's no guarantee it's going to sell 50 million units. There just isn't. You never know. But I just really feel like it was dumb of them to now you got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. That would have been a great Switch 2 game. There's still Metroid Prime 4. It's late in the generation as it is. If that ain't a cross-gen game, if that's just a Switch 1 game with some enhancements, I guess for the Switch 2, that'd be okay. But what'd we get? What was last year? Was it was 2023 Tears of the Kingdom? Or no, yeah, that was 2023. 2 years ago, and not 2024, but 2023. Tears of the Kingdom came out in May? That was a big hit. I'm trying to remember what came out after that. We've had a Mario Party in 2024. There was a Mario Party game that people said was good. We had Princess Peach. And I'm like, yeah, that got you probably an extra 10 million Switches, maybe 15. I don't know what this holiday was like. Maybe an extra 15 million Switches. But it could have been 15 million Switch 2s, if they launched it last holiday or last summer, or, last fall. You could have had a 15 million start with the Switch 2 at this point. The longer you push it out, the more people that buy the original Switch like today or last holiday, the less people that are going to buy the Switch 2 right away. It's just, that was my idea. Just want a new 3D Mario game. It's been 8 years. I mean, yeah, awesome. I heard Amazon canceled Metroid Prime 4 pre-orders. They might imply 2 different SKUs for it and price increase. Could be. Nah, deadass, I think that too. I wouldn't even be surprised if they intentionally delayed the Switch 2 reveal to attempt to outsell the PS2 on the Switch 1, although I do think it hurt them doing so. It could have just been the software sales were too good, and we don't want to interrupt this. Maybe they didn't care about the number 1 selling, but I've always kind of felt that for the last couple of years. like I just said, you could have had, instead of getting that extra 15 million switches in the last fiscal year, you could have had 15 or 20 million Switch 2s already, you know? That's how I looked at it. And just keep that momentum, don't even slow down, and maybe that'll still work. But, you know, like I said, maybe they have some really good games for that first year, but I think Echoes of Wisdom, which has some pretty significant frame rate issues at times, still playable, but very noticeable. That would have been a great Switch 2 launch window game. It could have just really had just a full lineup of games. I think Nintendo said a long time ago they intentionally wanted the Switch to last longer than usual. Yeah, I mean, right away they said that. Retro Death, I doubt he's still here, but they said there was going to be a longer than normal life cycle, and I think that two reasons I think they said that. One, let's be real, they're still new to the HD development back then. That was 8 years ago. They were still pretty new to HD development. They made some successful games the 2 years prior, but 2 to 3 years. They were still really new, and they probably let's give our teams more time to get used to a particular hardware, and then and when they put games out like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 looks so much better than 2. It was just a much better visual and performance wise and stuff. It was just a much more polished game in the end, I think. So you give these teams more time, which I think the PS5 generation needs to be at least 8 years, because we're 4 years in and we're just now starting to get games that take advantage of it. Don't release the PS6 2 years from now. So the other thing is, I think they saw the success was happening and they're like, well, the Wii U, we lost a lot of money with Wii U, and 3DS wasn't nearly as big as the DS. This has been successful. We're gonna keep riding the success train. Let's keep it rolling. We'll still be getting Switch 1 games by 2027. That's gonna be interesting because Nintendo's never had, because the DS to the 3DS. The DS was huge. They launched the 3DS, and there wasn't that much fanfare. It was overpriced. That wasn't a very smooth transition. I don't remember any controversial games that came to DS that probably should have been on 3DS. That wasn't the Pokemon Black and White 2 debacle, was it? Maybe that was. And I don't remember how long they kept the DS games going. I know they kept 3DS games going quite a bit into the Switch's life, but again, they didn't know the Switch was going to be that huge. They couldn't chance it. They needed the 3DS to still bring them in money. They released the NES Classic, the Super NES Classic. They need Amiibo. They had all these other avenues to try to make money to make up for the Wii U. Yeah, Mario Kart 8 alone got the Wii U money back and then some. I mean, Mario Kart 8 profits probably could pay for 2 console generations of our research and development. It's just crazy to think about that. But I mean, I know why people are tuning in about this stuff, because there's so many questions that need to be answered yet. It's if the leaks and rumors, the supposed shell and the motherboard stuff, like I said multiple times, I believe the shell stuff, the 3D people are 3D printing it from an actual scan of the real thing. Now maybe Nintendo, that could have been development kit Switch 2. That could have been the prototype. Maybe that's not the final product. That's a possibility. I find it strange that these companies have made grips and all that for it. They seem like they need to be pretty confident. I gotta sneeze again. Hold on. I think I'll just wrap this up by just reiterating what I think the Switch 2 is actually gonna do or try to predict. I don't think it's gonna be some massive boost to Switch 1 games, like I said, unless the game has frame rate issues and resolution drops. I don't see it I don't see Nintendo themselves doing patches to take advantage. I'd love to be wrong on that one. Trust me, nothing would make me happier. I don't know if I'm torn between if it's going to be like 4K output through the HDMI. It's going to be 4K 60 or something, like actual just the output, whether the games actually run at that. I'm really torn on that. I can't make a decision. I guess if I had to put money down, I'd say it would have at least 4K 30 output. But it'd be nice if it was 4K 60 for those indie games that will be able to do that. They do it because idiots will buy it, then double dip when the real stuff comes out. I don't. Zelda Breath of the Wild would have made more money for all Wii U games combined. I mean, that was a good decision by Nintendo to do the cross-gen. That was really smart. But anyway, Switch 2. I guess, the 8-inch screen seems very... I'm pretty much accepted that. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I've accepted the Joy-Cons to not be ergonomic. I believe the magnetic attachment's real. I really hope for some cool stuff on the OS side of things. A little more personality, a little more modern features. I don't want to still have to wonder if online game's going to come out, and it's like, am I going to be able to invite friends? That needs to not be a thing ever again. I just want to be able to get in a party with friends and go play Smash. Don't make it hard. I don't want to have to make a lobby and then make a code and send people the code via my phone. I don't want to have to do any of that. That's stupid. But if I had to put money on it, I'd say we still have to do that. I don't see them fixing that. I think the Nintendo Online is gonna be the same exact structure. You're gonna pay. That's gonna give you cloud saves and online play, and then the NES, Super NES games, and then the expansion pass. I think all that is going to be the same. I don't expect that to be any different. Maybe they'll add GameCube games or something at some point, but they're still going to have that. Still going to trickle out. Maybe you'll get some more N64 games and stuff like that. I see that being identical. I see the profile system being identical. Just create a nickname for your system, and that's going to be your name on your online. I don't see them having some kind of gamer tag. The hating under the Nate the Hates last video, yeah, I hope people give it to him. He's got his views though, and every time they comment, they're giving him another 10-second, minute-long view while they're typing. Just like I said in my last Juice Opinions, the Switch 2 is not going to be exciting from just looking at the hardware side of things. It's just not. The OS, the software, that stuff's where the excitement's going to come. So, it'll be interesting to see, is this going to start off with a 3-hour battery life? Are they already going to be ahead of the game and have the 7, 8 to 9 hour battery life, which means the system's really going to be throttled down if you're getting that much battery life. They're really not going to be utilizing the CPU and GPU, so that will be interesting. Is it going to have good Bluetooth support for devices? Is it going to have a Pro controller? Is it going to be different? Is it just going to be the Switch Pro controller with the Switch 2 logo? Are they going to really improve upon that, advance it at all? That would be interesting to see. Have no idea about that. No one's shown any of that. I think they will shoot for 3 hours. Now we're getting treated recently with 3 streams. Nice. Yeah. I just had to, because on Monday's podcast, we just kind of went with it. And I was like, my gut's telling me they're not going to reveal this thing. So I want to officially, just like I did with my Switch Pro video, just kind of get it out there. We're getting pretty close now. We're at 8:25. We might as well just keep going. We've been doing an hour 35. Might as well wait another 5 minutes. Somebody tell me when they see on X or wherever, Instagram. I don't know. Nintendo still posts on. I've been calling it X more lately. It's, I still like to call it Twitter. Let's see, 24 minutes ago, they just... Yeah, you're not getting... I mean, come on. As if I needed more evidence. They just posted this 27 minutes ago. Let me share my screen. This is what they posted 27 minutes ago. Redeem your My Nintendo Platinum points to collect custom icons for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Available until 2/12 at 5 p.m. Icon elements will be refreshed each week. This is what they posted. They're not revealing the Switch 2. Like, if you need any more proof, then there's something wrong with you. Like, they're not trolling. They're not going to troll. This is what they're pushing. This is Nintendo. For people that don't know Nintendo, this is Nintendo. They have a game coming out. They're going to push that game. They're pushing these stupid, like, again, get to the Switch 2. This stuff's going to be right on the Switch 2. These icons that you got to redeem points for, and it's really slow and tedious on the original Switch. Hopefully it'll be fast. This is Nintendo. This is their focus. You're not getting a Switch 2 reveal. So, just wanted to show that. If you needed any more evidence, like literally 27 minutes ago, they posted this at 8 p.m. I speak on behalf of everybody that this is exactly what we're all hoping for from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you, Nintendo. Do we got to get back to the... If you're disappointed that Nintendo didn't reveal the thing based on Nate the Hate's leaks, rumors, and all that, that's on you. You shouldn't be disappointed because somebody who makes a living off getting views said that he heard that Nintendo was going to reveal the Switch 2. That's on you. That's not on Nintendo. Nintendo had their plans, and it didn't revolve around Nate the Hate. So, there you go. If you need any more, you shouldn't need any more evidence. That's Nintendo. For those that know Nintendo, they know Nintendo. That's what they do. We have this 15-year-old port or game, a port of a 15-year-old game with minor enhancements. In some cases, some of the effects look worse than the original Wii version. That game's coming out in 2 days. All their attention, all their tweets, all their YouTube content is going to be about promoting this game. So I think that's a good point to end it on. And we'll see next week. We'll see if these Nate the Hate and these other people, they're probably going to start this cycle over next week, the week after, and the week after that. I'm calling it now. So with that, thanks everybody for tuning in. It's been fun. And I'm glad that we ended on that because that's the perfect way to end it. Nintendo, of course, was going to tweet about icons for Donkey Kong Country HD at 8 p.m. That might have been intentional. They might have been saving that for tomorrow, but you know what? Let's post this at 8 p.m. So it's on you. If you believe Nate the Hate, don't be mad at Nintendo for not doing the thing that these people said. He's been wrong before. Why is it still... Yeah, 4 years ago he said the Switch 2 was going to be revealed. So, I don't know who he is. How do you say your name? Tropic? That's a clever way to spell it. First time seeing in here, we got Baby Bear. First time in here, hey from Atlanta. Hey from Michigan. My Detroit Lions are still in the playoffs. Actually, Atlanta barely missed. I don't know if you're a football fan, but Falcons blew it. Nintendo beats its own drum. Gerhard. Some new people in here. Grant. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Grant the Nah could be something. They could do something hilarious in 4 minutes. Yeah. Some Australian bloke is who? Is that Nate the Hate? Is he Australian? Cost of living is very high over there. The exchange rate's pretty trash. You gotta make some extra money. So yeah, I'm glad we did this stream. It looked perfect. Perfect timing. The Best of Buds, 9 hours ago, they posted about Donkey Kong. Yeah, there you go. Lesson learned, guys. I don't know why we have to keep learning these lessons. It was, 3.5 years ago, the Switch Pro said the same thing. Like, why we believe? Don't be mad at Nintendo. Let's see. This was November 5th. At today's Nintendo's from their what do you call it? Some kind of financial report or whatever meeting. We announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Just said that, obviously. Further information about the successor, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date. That was November 5th. So they reiterated that. That wasn't that long ago. I don't remember seeing that one. Because they initially announced it'd be in the fiscal year, I believe a year ago in like April. So yeah, I mean, you're definitely not going to get it the week that Donkey Kong comes out. Sorry if that hurts you, but that's on you. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. And we'll appreciate you guys for tuning in, and probably do it next week. I might have to do this next week to tell people the same thing. So we'll see you guys then.